Hey guys, Jessica here. Today I wanted to talk about the biggest personal finance life hack that I've used in my life. I know that sounds a little bit clickbaity, but honestly, this one hack only takes 10 minutes to set up and has saved me so much time and stress in managing my personal finances. So one of the things that we focus on a ton here at Uprise is why managing personal finances is still so messed up. Like why we are constantly opening up banking apps to check the balance, to make sure a bill cleared, to set up payments, why we're opening up investing apps to see, did the stock go up or go down? Does that put us closer or farther away from buying that Tesla that we wanted? I mean, I guess, if you get the adrenaline rush from random number movements, but with all the tech that exists today, we shouldn't have to if we didn't want to. So this hack that I'm talking about, we can already put a decent amount of automation into our personal finances. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to link up your bank accounts, investment accounts, and payroll so that a lot of this happens on semi-autopilot. It's kind of like how Tesla has that autopilot feature that isn't quite a self-driving car yet, but it's maybe 25%, 30% of the way there. That's what this is. It's still pretty cool, and it'll save you a ton of time and stress in managing your money. The foundation of this is basically an idea in managing personal finances where you save first and spend what's left over. Or in rich dad, poor dad terms, pay yourself first. You've got big things in the future. You want to buy a house, maybe take a year off. You need to buy a yacht in order to live comfortably in retirement. Whatever it is, the best way to manage your finances is to take that money and have it go straight into investments from your paycheck so that it doesn't even hit your bank account. And then you live off the rest of the money that actually does make it to your bank account. It's not a huge stretch. You're probably doing some of this already, and I'll show you more what I mean. So to give you guys an example, say you wanted to save for the long term by putting money into a retirement account and a health savings account, or HSA. By the way, if you guys haven't heard of HSAs before, it is the most tax advantaged investment account out there. So we recently did a video on this. I'm going to link to it up here. Definitely check that out if you haven't looked into it before. Also, say that on top of the long-term investments, you'd like to take a sabbatical in say 3 to 4 years where you could maybe write a book or climb Mount Everest or whatever makes sense for you. So you want to take all of that stuff and then put numbers behind them. So say you wanted to max out your HSA, the limit for 2021 is $3,600, which on a monthly basis would be $300 or $150 per pay cycle, if you're paid twice a month. So after that, retirement. Maybe some of you guys have 401ks. Definitely look at that if you do. On my side, I work for a teeny tiny startup that has no benefits yet, so I'm going to be maxing out my IRA. So for 2021, that's $6,000 or $500 per month or $250 per pay period. And lastly, for that sabbatical goal, say, I want to save up roughly $40,000 to be able to take that sabbatical, to be able to live for a year without making an income. That works out to be roughly $1,000 a month or $500 per pay period. Okay, so given this, then 3 steps. First is to make sure that you have accounts set up for each of these goals. So make sure you have that HSA set up, make sure you have that IRA set up, as well as a normal investment account to hold sort of the money that's going to go towards the sabbatical. Second, you need to figure out the account details for each of these accounts. So the account number and routing number for each of these to be able to set up your direct deposit. And the third thing is to log into your payroll system and set up your direct deposit to have money go straight from your paycheck into each of these accounts. Okay, so with all of that, I'm going to be switching over to screen share to show you guys how to set this up. But basically, I have these accounts opened already. My HSA is with Fidelity, my IRA is with Vanguard, my regular investment account is with Wealthfront, and my normal checking account is with Chase. And so I'll show you guys how to set it up for each of these different providers. Okay, so I'm going to set this up now. The first thing to do is to navigate to your payroll provider. In our case, we use JustWorks to do HR and stuff. And so you go to this little profile icon here, go into account settings, and then within account settings, you navigate to the finances link on the left here. And what you want to do is you go into this bank account. This is the bank account that I set up to receive my paycheck. You go and edit this. And then once you're in here, you have the option here to add another bank account. And this is what we're going to do. We're actually going to add quite a few bank accounts here. So you can see what happens is basically there's a primary bank account, but you can like now split up your paycheck to go into different accounts. And so remember we said $150 per pay period into the HSA, $250 per pay period into the IRA, and $500 per pay period into the investment account. And so I've previously opened up each of these different accounts that I have. So I'm going to go into that right now. So Fidelity is where I keep my HSA, and log in. And what we're looking for here is the account and routing number for each of these accounts. And I'm going to navigate to the health savings account. And for Fidelity, it's very easy to find. It's literally right here underneath this, the big text as to what the account is. You go into routing number, and here's the routing number and account number for you to direct deposit in here. So I'm going to do that. Take the routing number, go here, go back to JustWorks. Then we're going to call this the Fidelity HSA, the routing number, paste that. Go back to the account number, copy that, paste that here. Here it doesn't matter because they only give me 2 options, but if you have the option to select what it is, I'm going to mark it as savings. Here I'm going to switch to, rather than a percentage deposit amount, because the limit for HSA is a fixed number, so I'm going to switch to a dollar amount here. And we said $150 per pay period. Okay, so then I'm going to add another bank account, and then we're going to do the same thing for the IRA. So in this case, I go to Vanguard. And Vanguard, the routing and account number is not as easy to find. You have to go into Profile and Account Settings, which is up here in the top right corner. Once you hit that, you're in this sort of long list of possible options. Scroll down. Under banking and money movement, you'll see direct deposit. So I'm going to click into that. And then from here, I've already previously set up a direct deposit summary. If you haven't set one up, you just click this tiny link here that says set up direct deposit. But as I mentioned, I've already set it up. So I'm going to click into JustWorks. And then here, I want all of my money to go into the traditional IRA brokerage account, and here's the routing and direct deposit account number. So again, copy the routing number, go back to JustWorks, call this Vanguard Traditional IRA, and then account number, it's right here, account number, copy that. I'm going to mark it as savings again. Again, fixed dollar value. Here I'm going to put $250 per pay period. And then one more. So Wealthfront investment account. In the case of Wealthfront, there's multiple steps here because you have to, they don't allow direct deposit straight into your investment account. You have to first direct deposit into the cash account and then set it up so that it automatically goes into investments. But first up, let's go into the cash account and then hit manage, and then it'll give you the account and routing number. So copy the routing number, go back here, and the account number, copy that. I'll put that as savings as well. And then the value here, we said 500 per pay period. And then the key thing here is to keep this blank, keep this as 0, because what's going to happen is that because this is the primary bank account, the rest of the money that isn't already deposited into these other accounts will go in here. And just keep in mind, this is how JustWorks works. Your payroll system, if you use ADP or something else, might be completely different. So please keep that in mind. So I'm going to save changes here. All right, so as you can see here, these have now all been set up. Basically, Fidelity, it's sending $150 per pay period, Vanguard $250 per pay period, and Wealthfront $500 per pay period. And just keep in mind that the bank name is going to not necessarily match, so it'll show UMBNA instead of Fidelity. This is correct. UMBNA is the bank that Fidelity uses to process this, in the same way Wealthfront uses a partnership with Green Dot Bank in order to process its payments, but this is totally fine. And the last piece I mentioned is Wealthfront's a little bit tricky. So you go into Wealthfront, in order to make sure that money that goes into the cash account then goes into investments, you need to do this automate your savings, or alternatively, the other thing you can do is just go into transfer funds here in the top right, and you want to move money between Wealthfront accounts, so from cash to investment. And then you want to set the frequency to match your pay cycle. So in my case, we get paid the 1st and 15th. I set that up. And then remember, we said $500 per every pay period. Right now, it says you can only transfer up to $441. That's how much I have in my bank account. So I'm going to have to wait until that first payroll goes through, that $500 shows up, and then I will set it up to automatically go 1st and 15th, take $500 out. All right, awesome. Once all of that is set up, then you're really in this amazing situation where the only account that you really have to check on a day-to-day basis is your checking account. You don't have to think about your savings account or your investment account, any of that stuff anymore, because all of that is sort of happening automatically with every single paycheck. Another quick tip is to also set up auto payment on all of your credit cards to make sure that those are pulling directly from your checking account as well. So why this is so awesome? This system is amazing, first and foremost, because it's a really easy way to keep a budget. You set up your paycheck so that only that leftover amount goes into your checking account every single month. And then it's really clear to be able to see, hey, this is how much that I can spend just from the amount that's left over in my checking account each month. And it's also really easy to know if you're off track, if you're finding that you're pulling money from savings or pulling money from investments to cover shortfalls. That's a really key indicator of that. Simultaneously, it keeps you on track for all of those like long-term things that you're thinking about. You're automatically putting money into savings, investments, tax-optimized accounts without even thinking about it at all. And it's such an amazing feeling to, you know, open up that investment account sort of like years down the road and being like, wow. This is a snapshot of one of my retirement accounts from a previous employer. Basically, in 2018, I contributed $14,000, and you can see now that the balance has gone up to $20,000. It's pretty amazing. $6,000 of passive income, and I literally had to do pretty much nothing except set it up, you know, back in 2018. It's really sweet. And lastly, have I ever seen this go wrong? Never. You know, I've been doing my finances this way for a really long time. I've never had an auto payment from a credit card fail to go through. I've never had a direct deposit fail to make it into my bank account. I think these sort of financial systems are pretty foolproof now. And so as long as you double check, triple check that account number that you're putting in there is correct in the beginning, you can kind of rest assured, you know, on a month-to-month basis that it'll keep happening the way you expect it to. And that's it. I hope that was helpful. I will caveat that not all bank accounts and investment accounts have this direct deposit feature that I was talking about. You might have to find workaround solutions, kind of similar to what we did with Wealthfront, where the money goes into a cash account or checking account first and then gets routed automatically to the investment account. Also, as I mentioned, we'd be happy to take a look at your specific situation, you know, which accounts to get, how much to be putting into each of these accounts, help you even, you know, set up this automation. Just sign up on our website. It's linked in the description below. We are a startup on a mission to take the personalized tax and financial optimization strategies of the rich and make it available to everybody completely for free. Other than that, if you got value out of this video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more optimizations. Thanks.